in non-MMO style video games, right? Console video game. And then you have Ashes of Creation showing up. And I think that they're going to bring a level of difficulty to the MMO space. And now that doesn't need to, in my opinion, difficulty doesn't always mean just fucking difficult content that you just have to try for 12 hours to beat on your own and you fail a lot. Like, that's difficult, sure, but that's almost like being difficult for difficult's sake. And that's also fucking stupid. So recently, I have dipped my toes back and I just fucking dove headfirst back into an old MMO that I used to play with my buddies in high school. And some of us got together and started playing it. And I would level it up. I would say that it is a difficult MMO. If you die, you lose experience on multiple levels. You have levels for your weapon levels, magic levels, experience in general. You can lose a level when you die, so that's inherently difficult. Then actually beating like bosses and leveling up and like hunting large groups of monsters is deadly in most instances and is in fact inherently difficult. However, when I play the game, as long as I'm like focusing and paying attention and managing spells and cooldowns and resources, like I can succeed. However, the moment that I like don't, there's a good chance I die and I lose experience. And in worst cases, you can drop your shit. That inherent the inherent risk that comes along with playing the game in any capacity is exciting for me. It's fun. It makes things more enjoyable. So when I go to hunt in WoW and I have to kill 1,000 boars, it's like, okay, I have to kill 1,000 boars. I know that's not a quest, I'm just saying. Oh, well, okay, I can literally put in music and watch a movie and like right-click, tab, whatever, and just kill 1,000 boars and I'm done. I'm not really playing the game. I'm not really enjoying it. I'm not immersed. I'm not interacting. I'm not doing anything. But in the game I was talking about, which is, if you want to know, it's called Tibia. Super old game. I just am absolutely in love with it again. I'm having more fun with it than I've had with the game in a very long time. But I'm interactive. Like, I'm here. You know, like, I don't play it when the family's awake. Like, when my wife's awake, if we're hanging out, or if my kids are awake. Like, I don't usually play video games anyway, but if I happen to have it up, I can't play that and be active anywhere else because I have to be fully immersed in it. And I haven't done that with a game for a long time. So the inherent difficulty, the inherent risk that comes with the game, right, makes it exciting. It makes it more immersive, not because the game itself is totally immersive, you know. They've got bird sounds in the distance. There's trees that crackle the right way when they fall. The weather is dynamic. But because it's immersive, because it draws me in. You know, like pulls me in. It pulls my focus in, causing me to be immersed in the game. So, if we take that and kind of translate that to Ashes. Ashes is not only going to have the inherent difficulty, the inherent risk of open world PvP, which we can talk about at the end if somebody wants to. The inherent risk of open world PvP, the inherent difficulty of things like auction houses being regionalized, not being able to just transport hundreds of things of wood, like maybe needing to use the caravan system or a boat, like logistical difficulties, the difficulties of actually needing to be a part of a social group to make a raid or a dungeon. Then while I'm doing that, the inherent difficulty of the open world PvP. And then hopefully, well, we don't know for sure, but maybe the mobs are a little more dangerous. Like, not just, oh my god, they one-shot me if I don't do all my mechanics right, but difficulty in the sense of like, okay, I need to at least pay attention when I'm farming mobs. Like, having that inherent difficulty, inherent risk of factor, would draw you in to the game. And then on top of that, let's add in all the dynamic UE5, mind-blowing graphics, weather effects, blah, 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 right? Now I'm ridiculously immersed. And I think that comes with there being that inherent risk and difficulty. And I'm a fan. And I think, but, it will turn away a lot of people, I think. Now, Elden Ring didn't, but Elden Ring was also, you failed on your own. Nobody had to see you fail, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't in a group of people and I failed. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. In an MMO, if I die, most of the time people will be able to see me die. Or whatever. And when I'm playing Elden Ring, nobody has to see shit. You know, maybe that's why it was attractive to people. Or maybe it was so difficult that, like, overcoming it as a group was fun, like as a collective of like, I just beat this boss. Dude, he's killed me 10 times. This is how I did it. Like, I feel like some of that hype or that community camaraderie around difficulty and conquering could come to an MMO like Ashes of Creation, and I'm excited about that. And I think that's a really cool selling point. I think that's a really cool point, a pivot for the MMO genre. You know, I'm not saying that Ashes is the savior. I think that's putting way too much pressure on it. I'm not even saying that it's going to revolutionize the space, because I think that's also way too much fucking pressure on a video game and a development studio. But I think that it has the potential to be a pivot point, a turning point for difficulty, risk versus reward. I mean, how many times do we need to say that? Ask Steven. Or difficulty in an MMO, in a video game, specifically MMORPGs. I think it could be a turning point where we could see some of that actually creeping back into the game. Like, my in-game raids don't need to be the most difficult part. And what I mean by that is everything's a cakewalk until the in-game. That's not fun to me. I want to actually have to work and struggle, and basically through working and struggling to get my levels, to get my skills, to get my equipment, by the time I get to the end game that is difficult, I am battle hardened, I am battle tested, and when I get to the end game, I'm ready to, like, while it is difficult, more difficult, like, I am used to it, I am conditioned, I have trained, and then, like, I'm ready for that. So I think inherent difficulty is a good thing. I think it will turn away people because WoW is not inherently difficult most of the time until you get to the end game. Most MMOs on the market right now aren't inherently difficult or have any risk, really. So that's kind of where I'm at. And this all came up because of me playing Tibia more and more in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, and enjoying it and realizing that kind of like self-realization that the inherent risk and difficulty of the game is what has become attractive to me and what has drawn me into it. So seeing that in a game like that, that's not in UE5, it's been like in MS Paint or some shit like that. Seeing a game like that being that attractive and immersive to me, I can't imagine what Ashes could do to people, to me. I would love to know what you guys think about difficulties in games, like difficulty in game, like inherent difficulty, not necessarily like picking a difficulty level, but like inherent risk, inherent difficulty. We always talk about risk versus reward a lot in various chat groups and various discords, forums, shit like that. But what about difficulty? Like, how hard should it be? You know, I don't want it to be where like, when I'm level 1 and I go up on a goblin, or maybe I'm level 5 and I go up on a goblin, if I don't dodge his attacks and block, I die. But I would want it to be where if I pull 3 goblins, holy fucking shit, somebody saved me. You know what I mean? Like, I would want that level, or even 2 goblins at a low level. I'm like, oh, I better do my mechanics right and use my cooldowns right so I don't die. You know what I mean? Where, you know, I don't want it to be too hard, but I want it to be challenging. I want to feel accomplished when I get level 5. I want to feel accomplished when I get level 20. When I finally make it to 25 and I unlock my secondary archetype and I get my class, I want that to feel like something. When I get to max level, I want that to be the achievement. Not that I found the best place to grind mobs to get experience to win. Haha, I got there first. Like, no. I just want to feel like I fucking did something. Like, the time I spent on the game wasn't monotonous, mind-numbing shit. By the time I got to the end game, I was like, cool, I fucking did a thing. And then the game starts. You know what I mean? And then you're like in the politics and the node wars and the dungeon raiding and the finding this and exploring the world and blah, blah, blah. I want to fucking matter. And I think difficulty is a key. And I would love to know what you guys think about difficulty in games, difficulty in MMORPGs, and then, of course, pertaining specifically to what I talk about the most, Ashes of Creation. Like, how difficult should it be?